ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಇಂದಿನ ನಮ್ಮ ವಿವರವಾದ ಚರ್ಚೆಗೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. ನಾವು ಇವತ್ತು ರೆಸ್ಟೋರೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಧೈರ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಹೇಗೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಒಳಹುಕ್ಕು ನೋಡೋಣ.
ಹೌದು, ಇದು ತುಂಬಾ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಹಿಂಜರಿಕೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಏನ್ ಕೇಳ್ಬೇಕು, ಹೇಗೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ.
ಹೌದು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವು ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕಲಿಕಾ ಸಾಮಗ್ರಿಗಳನ್ನು ಆಧಾರವಾಗಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೇಗೆ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ವಿನಯವಾಗಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಬಳಸಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಊಟದ ಅನುಭವವನ್ನು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೋದು ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋಣ. ಸರಿ, ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಮೊದಲು ಕೆಲವು ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದ ಪದಗಳು ಬೇಕೇ ಬೇಕು ಅಲ್ವಾ?
ಖಂಡಿತ. ಈಗ ರೆಸ್ಟೋರೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಹೋದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗೋದು ಮೆನು.
ಮೆನು.
ಹೌದು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ತಿಂಡಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟರ್ ಅಥವಾ ಅಪೆಟೈಸರ್ ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಮುಖ್ಯ ಊಟಕ್ಕೆ ಮೇನ್ ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ.
ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕೊನೆಗೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಸಿಹಿ ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡೆಸರ್ಟ್.
ಹೌದು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮುಗಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಿಲ್ ಕೇಯೋದು.
ಬಿಲ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡೋರ್ನ ವೇಟರ್ ಅಥವಾ ಸರ್ವರ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಇವು ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಪದಗಳು.
ಹೌದು, ಈ ಪದಗಳು ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋದು ಮುಖ್ಯ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಆ ಮೂಲ ಸಾಮಗ್ರಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಒತ್ತಿ ಹೇಳೋದೇನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಪದಗಳನ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ಬಳಸ್ತೀವಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು. ಅದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯ.
ಓ ಹೌದಾ? ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ?
ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗೆ, ಸುಮ್ನೆ ಮೆನು ಅನ್ನೋ ಬದಲು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಐ ಸಿ ದ ಮೆನು ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳೋದು.
ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಸೇರಿಸೋದು.
ಹೌದು. ಟೇಬಲ್ ಫಾರ್ 2 ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಬ್ರಿಗೆ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಬೇಕು ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಅಂತ. ಆ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಪದ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಸಂಭಾಷಣೆಯನ್ನೇ ಬದಲಾಯಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಮೂಲ ಸಾಮಗ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ತಪ್ಪು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನೇರವಾಗಿ ಬ್ರಿಂಗ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಫಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಮಾಡೋ ತರ ಹೇಳೋ ಬದಲು.
ಹೌದು, ಅದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ರೂಢಾಗಿ ಕೇಳಿಸುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ?
ಹೌದು. ಅದ್ರ ಬದಲು ಕುಡ್ ವಿ ಗೆಟ್ ಸಮ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಕೇಳೋಕೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ವಿನಯವಾಗಿಯೂ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಪ್ಲೀಸ್, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಇವುಗಳನ್ನ ಬಳಸೋದ್ರಿಂದಾನೇ ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
ಓ ಅಚ್ಚಾ. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಕುಡ್ ವಿ ಗೆಟ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಥರ ವಾಕ್ಯ ಬಳಸೋದು ಉತ್ತಮ. ಇದು ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ ಆದ್ರೂ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ವಿಷಯ ಇದು. ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ ಹಾಗೆ ಬರೀ ಪದಗಳಲ್ಲ, ವಾಕ್ಯ ರಚನೆ, ಆ ವಿನಯನೇ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಸಂವಹನಕ್ಕೆ. ಆ ಸಾಮಗ್ರಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಗ್ರಾಹಕ ಮತ್ತೆ ವೇಟರ್ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಮಾತುಕತೆ ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಇತ್ತಲ್ವಾ?
ಹೌದು, ಖಂಡಿತ. ಅದು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಆಗಿ ತೋರಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ವೇಟರ್ ಬಂದು ಐ ಯು ರೆಡಿ ಟು ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಆಗ ನಾವು ಎಸ್ ಐಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದ ವೆಜಿಟಬಲ್ ಕರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಹುದು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ವೆಜ್ ಕರಿ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ.
ಸರಿ.
ಅಥವಾ ವಿ ವುಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಟು ಆರ್ಡರ್ 1 ಸೂಪ್ ಅಂಡ್ 2 ರೋಟೀಸ್ ಅಂತಾನೂ ಹೇಳ್ಬಹುದು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಐಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅಥವಾ ವಿ ವುಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಬಳಸೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅದು ನೇರವಾಗಿ ಆಜ್ಞೆ ಮಾಡಿದ ಹಾಗೆ ಇರಲ್ಲ.
ಹೌದು, ಅದು ಸರಿ. ವಿನಯವಾಗಿ ಕೇಳಿದ ಹಾಗೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
ಮತ್ತೆ ಆಹಾರದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳುವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ನಮಗೆ ಖಾರ ಬೇಕಾ, ಸಿಹಿ ಬೇಕಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಲ್ವಾ?
ಹೌದು, ಖಂಡಿತ.
ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಪೈಸಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಖಾರ, ಸ್ವೀಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಿಹಿ, ಕ್ರಿಸ್ಪಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗರಿಗರಿಯಾದದ್ದು, ಕ್ರೀಮಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕೆನೆ ಥರ ಇರೋದು, ಈ ಥರ ಪದಗಳನ್ನ ಬಳಸಿ ನಮಗೇನ್ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬಹುದು.
ಈಗ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಯ್ತು. ಈ ರುಚಿ ಹೇಳೋ ಪದಗಳು ತುಂಬಾ ಯೂಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಈ ಮಾತಾಡೋ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್ ಇದು ಬರೀ ರೆಸ್ಟೋರೆಂಟ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರನಾ ಅಥವಾ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆನೂ ಉಪಯೋಗಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುತ್ತಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಖಂಡಿತ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಈ ವಿನಯ, ಈ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟತೆ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಬರೀ ಮುಖಾಮುಖಿ ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ, ನಾವು ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಇದು ಬೇಕೇ ಬೇಕು.
ಹೌದು, ನಿಜ.
ಐಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಟು ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಅನ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಫಾರ್ ಡೆಲಿವರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಬಹುದು ಡೆಲಿವರಿಗೆ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ.
ಓಕೆ.
ಅಥವಾ ಕುಡ್ ಯು ಟೆಲ್ ಮಿ ದಿ ಎಸ್ಟಿಮೇಟೆಡ್ ಡೆಲಿವರಿ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹೊತ್ತಿಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಅಲ್ಲೂ ವಿನಯ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅಲ್ವಾ?
ಖಂಡಿತ.
ಅದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಆ ಮೂಲ ಸಾಮಗ್ರಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿರೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಕೆಲವು ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಶಿಷ್ಟಾಚಾರಗಳು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಟಿಕೆಟ್ಸ್. ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗೆ, ಟೇಬಲ್ ಹತ್ರ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಊಟ ಬಡಿಸೋವರೆಗೂ ಕಾಯೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಸರ್ವರ್ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ತಂದ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಒಂದು ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಹೇಳೋದು. ಸಣ್ಣ ವಿಷಯನೇ ಆದ್ರೂ ಅದು ಒಟ್ಟು ಅನುಭವವನ್ನ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ.
ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಒಟ್ಟಾರೆಯಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಈ ಚರ್ಚೆಯಿಂದ ಏನ್ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಬೋದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಕೆಲವು ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಪದಗಳು, ಪ್ಲೀಸ್, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ತರಹದ ವಿನಯದ ಮಾತುಗಳು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆ, ಶಿಷ್ಟಾಚಾರಗಳು ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೆಸ್ಟೋರೆಂಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಧೈರ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಆತ್ಮವಿಶ್ವಾಸದಿಂದ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಕಷ್ಟದ ಕೆಲಸ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಊಟದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ.
ಹೌದು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಯೋಚನೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ನನ್ಗೆ. ಈಗ ನಾವು ಬರೀ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂತ ಕಲ್ತ್ವಿ, ಆದರೆ ಆ ಆಹಾರದ ಭಾಷೆ, ಆ ವಿನಯದ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮತೆಗಳು, ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ನಮ್ಮದೇ ಆದ ಪರಿಚಿತ ಅಡಿಗೆಯನ್ನ ಬೇರೆ ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿ ಪಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವಾಗ ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಊಟದ ಒಂದು ಸಾಂಸ್ಕೃತಿಕ ಅನುಭವವನ್ನೇ ಹೇಗೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಶ್ರೀಮಂತಗೊಳಿಸಬಹುದು. ಇದು ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ ವಿಷಯ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ.
ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗಿ. ಅದು ನಿಜಕ್ಕೂ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡೋಕೆ. ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೇಳುಗರು ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ ಈ ಟಿಪ್ಸ್ ಬಳಸಿ ಧೈರ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಮಾಡೋಕೆ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೋತೀನಿ. ಮುಂದಿನ ಚರ್ಚೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಭೇಟಿಯಾಗೋಣ.
आज हम बात कर रहे हैं रेस्टोरेंट में अंग्रेजी के इस्तेमाल पर। हमारे पास जो जानकारी है वो लोगों को मदद करने के लिए है कि कैसे रेस्टोरेंट में मतलब बिना झिझक के बात करें।
हाँ,
मेन्यू देखने से लेकर ऑर्डर देने यहाँ तक कि बिल मांगने तक।
हाँ।
तो मतलब इरादा ये है कि कैसे पोलाइट और साफ अंग्रेजी बोलकर ये सब आसानी से किया जा सकता है। चलिए थोड़ा और समझते हैं इसे।
बिल्कुल। और ये समझना जरूरी है कि सही शब्द और वाक्यांश कैसे चुनें ताकि बातचीत मतलब अटके नहीं, बिल्कुल सहज लगे।
हाँ, क्योंकि कई बार आसान सी लगने वाली बातचीत में भी कुछ गड़बड़ हो सकती है ना?
सही बात है।
तो सामग्री में कुछ बहुत जरूरी शब्द हैं। मेन्यू, एपेटाइजर या स्टार्टर भी कहते हैं।
हाँ, स्टार्टर।
मेन कोर्स, डिजर्ट, बेवरेज, वेटर या सर्वर और बिल या चेक, ये तो मतलब बुनियादी चीजें हैं।
बिल्कुल, ये नींव है। लेकिन सिर्फ शब्द जानना काफी नहीं होता।
अच्छा।
हाँ, जैसे एपेटाइजर खाने की शुरुआत में आता है, मेन कोर्स मुख्य भोजन है, ये क्रम समझना भी जरूरी है। और जैसे बिल और चेक, दोनों का मतलब वही है, भुगतान की पर्ची। पर कहीं चेक ज्यादा चलता है, जैसे अमेरिका में।
ये जानना दिलचस्प है।
हाँ, ये छोटी छोटी बातें हैं।
और ग्राहकों के लिए भी कुछ वाक्यांश दिए गए हैं, जैसे टेबल फॉर टू प्लीज,
हाँ।
या व्हाट्स टुडे स्पेशल, या फिर ऑर्डर देते समय आई विल हैव द वेजिटेबल बिरयानी। ये तो काफी सीधे हैं।
सीधे हैं, लेकिन यहाँ विनम्रता बहुत मायने रखती है। जैसे आपने कहा प्लीज।
हाँ, प्लीज।
सामग्री में भी इस पर जोर है, प्लीज और थैंक यू का इस्तेमाल। सोचिए, ब्रिंग वाटर फास्ट कहने की जगह अगर कोई कहे कैन वी गेट सम वाटर प्लीज, तो कितना फर्क पड़ता है।
बिल्कुल, लहजा ही बदल जाता है।
हाँ, और वेयर इज बिल से बेहतर है कैन आई गेट द बिल प्लीज।
यस।
ये सिर्फ शिष्टाचार नहीं है, ये बातचीत को कामयाब बनाता है। अनुरोध करना आदेश देने से ज्यादा अच्छा लगता है, खासकर सेवा वाली जगहों पर।
सही कहा। अच्छा, खाने का स्वाद बताने वाले शब्द भी हैं। स्पाइसी मतलब मसालेदार, स्वीट मीठा,
सॉल्टी, सावर, क्रिस्पी, क्रीमी। हाँ।
कुरकुरा, मलाईदार, जैसे द करी इज वेरी स्पाइसी या द डोसा इज क्रिस्पी। इनका क्या रोल है?
इनका बहुत अहम रोल है। ये शब्द आपकी पसंद को साफ करते हैं। अगर आप कह सकें कि करी बहुत स्पाइसी है, तो शायद वेटर समझ जाए कि आपको कम तीखा चाहिए अगली बार।
अच्छा।
तो ये बातचीत को सिर्फ ऑर्डर लेने देने से आगे ले जाता है। मतलब आप बेहतर अनुभव पा सकते हैं अगर आप सही वर्णन कर पाएं।
और आजकल तो ऑनलाइन या फोन पे ऑर्डर करना बहुत आम है।
हाँ,
उसके लिए भी कुछ है?
हाँ बिल्कुल। वाक्यांश हैं जैसे I'd like to place an order, या डिलीवरी टाइम पूछने के लिए What is the delivery time?
हाँ, Can I pay online? ये सब।
बिल्कुल। और यहाँ भी स्पष्टता जरूरी है, क्योंकि आप आमने सामने नहीं है।
सही है।
इसके अलावा सामग्री में कुछ सांस्कृतिक बातें और शिष्टाचार का भी जिक्र है। जैसे कि जब तक सबका खाना ना आ जाए तब तक इंतजार करना, नैपकिन का इस्तेमाल और वेटर को प्लीज और थैंक यू कहना। ये छोटी बातें हैं पर माहौल बनाती हैं।
तो संक्षेप में कहें तो सही शब्द जानना, विनम्रता से बात करना और कुछ आम गलतियों से बचना, ये सब मिलकर रेस्तरां में अंग्रेजी बोलने का आत्मविश्वास देते हैं।
निश्चित रूप से। पर यहाँ एक और सोचने वाली बात है।
क्या?
जब कोई इस तरह की एक खास स्थिति में, जैसे रेस्तरां में भाषा इस्तेमाल करने में सहज हो जाता है, तो ये उसके भाषा सीखने के पूरे आत्मविश्वास पर कैसा असर डालता है? क्या वो दूसरी सामाजिक स्थितियों में जो शायद ज्यादा अप्रत्याशित हों, उनमें भी बेहतर महसूस करता है?
ये एक दिलचस्प सवाल है।
हाँ, क्योंकि ये सिर्फ खाना ऑर्डर करने तक सीमित नहीं है ना। ये असल में प्रभावी ढंग से संवाद करने की कला सीखने जैसा है।
Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine walking into a bustling new restaurant. Maybe you're traveling. Maybe it's somewhere English is spoken. Or perhaps you're just trying to get your skills up for an international business trip.
Right.
You walk in, the aroma of spices is everywhere. You hear the clinking of glasses, that lively hum. And suddenly, all those delicious possibilities on the menu feel, well, not just exciting, but maybe a little daunting too. it's not just about knowing what's on offer, is it? It's about confidently navigating the whole social and linguistic dance, really.
Exactly.
How do you smoothly ask for a table for, say, 5 people? What's the most polite way to order that, intricate dish you've been eyeing? And then how do you describe that incredible flavor you just tasted, or even just gracefully ask for the bill without sounding, well, abrupt?
That's a really crucial point. Our sources today, they highlight not just what you miss when language is a barrier, but the huge potential for misunderstanding.
Right, misunderstanding.
Yeah, it's not just about vocabulary lists. It's about getting those subtle cultural cues, the implied meanings that make an interaction genuinely smooth.
Okay.
Like, for instance, a polite request for no cilantro might just be heard as, oh, they don't like herbs in general if you don't phrase it clearly, and if you don't understand the usual restaurant way of handling things.
Gotcha.
So our mission today really is to give you a true shortcut to being well-informed. We're going to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge from our deep dive into restaurant English, ordering food, and dining out.
Okay.
We're here to equip you with the linguistic tools, yes, but also the cultural insights, so you can not just survive, but actually savor the dining experience in English. Whether you're sitting down for a fancy meal or just ordering a quick bite through a delivery app.
And trust me, you're going to want to savor every bit of this. We're going beyond just the basics today. We'll get into the fascinating psychology behind menus, the unwritten rules of table etiquette, and even those subtle shifts in language when you switch from dining in person to, ordering on your phone.
Definitely.
Get ready to really understand the language of the culinary world. Okay, let's begin right at the moment you step through the door. When you enter any restaurant, there are some, foundational words and phrases that are absolutely essential for a smooth start.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not just going to define them, are we? We're going to explore their sort of nuanced role in the whole dining experience.
Right, it's the context.
Exactly. Knowing these terms isn't just about understanding. It's the very first step to feeling comfortable, feeling in control, and setting a confident tone for your entire meal.
Yeah, absolutely.
So first up, the menu. Now, you might just see it as a list of dishes.
Uh-huh.
But our deep dive into various culinary studies, restaurant guides, reveals menus are often a masterclass in, behavioral psychology and strategic design. It's fascinating.
It really is.
Did you know, for example, some restaurant consultants advise placing the high-margin items, the profitable ones, in the top right corner? Apparently, that's where our eyes tend to linger first.
Interesting. I hadn't heard that specific spot.
Yeah. Or how using these rich descriptive adjectives like farm fresh, slow roasted, handcrafted, they can actually trigger specific emotional responses
Oh, definitely.
and even influence how you perceive the taste,
Yeah.
even before you've had a single bite.
It sets expectations.
Exactly. It's not just food. It's a carefully curated story, a narrative.
Yeah.
So when you ask, can I see the menu, please? That's your first polite request to enter this culinary narrative. And notice we're starting right off the bat with that essential please.
Yes.
Politeness is going to be our guiding star today, folks.
That's a perfect observation. The menu is your first point of, negotiation almost. Your initial chat with what the restaurant offers and understanding its unspoken cues is pretty crucial.
Yeah.
Then we move into the actual flow of the meal, which is often structured by these specific culinary stages.
Yeah.
You typically start with an appetizer, right? Or sometimes called a starter.
Right, starter, appetizer, yeah.
And this isn't just a smaller dish, it's kind of the opening act. It's designed to wake up your palate, set the tone for what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And culturally, appetizers can vary wildly. From the tiny, intricate amuse-bouche in French places, often a little gift from the chef.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah, to a shared platter of tapas in Spain or all those diverse mezz plates in the Middle East. They really influence the pacing of your meal, and they can even subtly nudge you towards certain main courses later.
Exactly. And speaking of the main event, that brings us right to the main course. This is the star of the show, isn't it? The central dish that your meal typically revolves around.
Usually, yeah.
Often, this is where the chef's culinary philosophy, their style, really shines through. After that, for those of us with a sweet tooth, there's dessert. The sweet conclusion.
Grand finale.
Right. And it's not just about satisfying a sugar craving, is it?
Yeah.
Desserts often serve as that final impression, that memorable flourish to end the dining experience. And they can range from, light, refreshing fruit tarts to really rich, decadent chocolate lava cakes or something.
Oh, yes. And of course, no meal is complete without a beverage or a drink.
True.
This covers everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
From a simple glass of water to more elaborate things like fresh juices, fancy sodas, or maybe something alcoholic from a curated wine list or cocktail menu.
Mm-hmm.
It's such an integral part of the dining experience, not just for hydration, obviously, but to complement the flavors of your food. A really well-paired drink can truly elevate a dish.
It really can. Then you have the wonderful people who guide you through this whole delicious journey.
Right,
Traditionally, the waiter or waitress.
right.
But our sources brought up a fascinating shift, something I hadn't maybe fully clocked. This widespread move towards the gender-neutral term, server.
Yeah, that's definitely more common now.
It is, isn't it? And this evolution, it reflects a broader cultural shift towards, inclusivity and professionalism in the service industry. It's a more modern, widely accepted term, so you'll definitely hear it a lot. You might politely say, "Excuse me, server," to catch their attention. And this simple linguistic change also subtly emphasizes the role, the job of providing service, rather than the gender of the person doing it, which is quite interesting, I think.
It is. And building on that, mastering these initial terms really does ensure a smooth entry into the whole dining experience. When you arrive, you'll typically be greeted and asked something like, "Table for how many?"
Right.
Your precise response, "Table for 2, please," or "Table for 4, please," immediately tells them what you need, clearly and courteously. It cuts down on any back and forth and just sets a positive tone right from the moment you step through the door.
Yeah, it gets things moving nicely. And then, as you wrap up your meal, you'll inevitably need to ask for the bill or the check.
It's a moment of truth.
Exactly. Both terms are common. They're widely understood. But knowing the regional preference can make you sound even more, natural.
True.
In the UK, bill is generally more common, while in the US, check is what you'll usually hear.
Right. Check, please.
Yeah. So in New York, you'd probably say, "Could we get the check, please?"
Yeah.
But in London, it's more likely, "Could we have the bill, please?"
Mm-hmm.
It's a little nuance.
Good tip.
And finally, a really crucial part of dining culture in many English-speaking countries, the tip or the service charge.
Yes. Tipping, always a fun topic.
Right. This is the gratuity you offer for good service, a way to show appreciation for the server's efforts. But it's important to note the difference. A service charge is often a predetermined percentage that's added right onto your bill, especially for larger groups sometimes.
Yeah, you'll see that listed.
Whereas a tip is usually discretionary. You decide the amount. You give it directly to the server or add it to the card payment. Understanding that difference is key so you don't end up accidentally overpaying or, worse, not adequately appreciating the staff.
That precision and politeness right from the get-go is so vital. It really sets a positive tone, minimizes potential misunderstandings, and just fosters a respectful interaction all around.
Definitely.
Imagine, fumbling for words or coming across as demanding just because you skipped a simple please or used a really informal phrase. It can instantly create a less pleasant interaction, can't it, for both you and the staff?
Oh, absolutely.
So, by mastering these initial terms and understanding their cultural context, you ensure a confident start to your dining experience. It makes you feel more at ease, and it allows the staff to serve you more effectively, too.
So, okay, with those foundational elements nicely in place, you've navigated getting through the door. You understand the basics of the menu, maybe even its secret psychology. And you even know how to appropriately wrap things up with payment. Now, let's move from just understanding what's available to actually engaging with the staff and confidently ordering your meal. This is where the magic of communication truly happens.
Yeah.
So you've settled in, you've had a moment to look over that strategically designed menu, maybe.
Resisted its Jedi mind tricks.
Exactly. And those delicious aromas are really starting to get your stomach rumbling. This is the interactive part, placing your order. And we want to focus on phrases that are not only direct, but also, incredibly polite and subtly effective. It's about expressing what you want clearly, but always with respect and kind of natural flow.
Yeah, that flow is important.
Let's start with that initial request for a table again. "Table for 2, please." Simple, direct, polite. Nailed it.
Check.
When you're ready for the menu, "Can I see the menu, please?" Perfect. Easy. And if you're feeling a bit adventurous, or maybe you just want to know what the chef recommends beyond the printed page, "What's today's special?" Or maybe, "Do you have any recommendations?" Are great questions to ask.
Oh, it definitely ask about specials.
Yeah, so many restaurants feature unique, off-menu dishes or seasonal specialties that you totally wouldn't want to miss out on.
And to build on that, the specific phrasing you use here is really paramount. It's about more than just getting the message across. It's about conveying respect and, like, understanding the social contract of dining out.
Okay, the social contract. I like that.
Yeah. For example, when you're ready to order a specific dish, instead of saying, I want the vegetable biryani, which can sound just a little bit demanding, maybe a bit transactional.
Right, bit blunt.
Yeah, exactly. We tend to opt for, I'll have the vegetable biryani, or I'd like the vegetable biryani.
Okay, I'll have, or I'd like.
Yeah. That phrase, I'll have, is a very common, very polite, and just natural way to express your order in English. It implies, a decision has been made and you're communicating it gracefully, almost like you're completing a thought rather than just issuing a command.
That makes sense. And that grace, it extends to even the simplest requests, doesn't it? Like, think about water. You wouldn't just bark, bring me water.
No, please don't.
Instead, can we get some water, please? Or maybe more specifically, could we have a jug of tap water, please? Are always the way to go.
Always with the please?
Always. It makes all the difference. And when you're finished eating and ready to pay, I'd like the bill, please, or could we get the check, are concise and polite ways to ask.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, let's say you've ordered a few things and you don't need anything else right at that moment. A simple, that's all for now, thank you, signals completion beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
It lets the server know you're happy with your current order, but it doesn't totally shut the door on maybe ordering dessert later.
Right, it keeps it open. And these phrases, they aren't isolated, are they? They build on each other to form this coherent, natural rhythm to the whole interaction.
Yeah, like a little script.
Kind of. Imagine the sequence. You've been seated. You politely ask for the menu. Maybe you inquire about the specials. Then you use I'll have to order your main dish, perhaps followed by can we get some water to go with it? And then you round it off with that's all for now, thank you, to conclude that part of the interaction.
Okay.
Each phrase serves a really clear communicative purpose while maintaining that respectful and efficient tone. It's like a carefully choreographed little dance between the diner and the server.
A dance. I like it. Okay, so that's what you, the customer, might say. But what about the other side of the interaction? Let's flip the script for a second and understand what the waiter or server might say to you.
Good idea.
Because understanding their questions helps you respond confidently, right? Rather than being caught off guard. And it helps you anticipate maybe what they'll ask next.
Yeah, you're ready for it.
Often, their first question, once you've had a bit of time to look at the menu, is, are you ready to order?
The classic.
The classic. And this isn't a demand, it's not a rush, it's just an invitation, a polite query to check if you've made your decision.
Mm-hmm.
So your response could be a simple, yes, we are, or maybe just a few more minutes, please,
Right.
if you're still deciding.
Right.
You might also hear, would you like anything to drink?
Yeah.
Maybe right after you've been seated, or perhaps when they come to take your food order.
Pretty standard.
Yeah, gives you the opportunity to order your beverages, perhaps specifying sparkling water or a glass of red wine.
And it's really crucial to recognize the server's role here. They're acting as a guide, a facilitator for your meal.
Right.
Their questions are generally designed to anticipate your needs and make sure your experience is tailored. Take a question like, how spicy do you want it?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
important one.
Super important, especially in cuisines where spice levels can vary dramatically, like Indian, Thai, Mexican food. It reflects those cultural variations in spice tolerance and the importance of customizing the dish to your preference.
So you don't accidentally breathe fire.
Exactly. You might answer mild, medium, Indian spicy, or very spicy, depending on what you like. Understanding the phrasing helps you give clear, concise answers, which ultimately makes your meal better.
True.
They might also ask about dietary restrictions, something like, are there any allergies or dietary requirements we should be aware of? Which is your cue to clearly state, I'm allergic to nuts, or actually, I'm vegetarian.
Yeah, very important to mention those things clearly.
Absolutely critical.
And then, after your food has been served, you'll almost always hear a warm and welcoming, enjoy your meal.
Yes.
It's a common, friendly closing that just wishes you a pleasant dining experience. Understanding the intent behind each of these phrases, it makes you a more prepared and confident diner. When they ask, are you ready to order?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You know they're politely inviting you to begin, not trying to rush you out the door.
Right.
When they say, enjoy your meal, you know it's a friendly send-off into your culinary adventure, inviting you to just, fully immerse yourself in the flavors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now let's try and bring both sides of this conversation together. So what does this all actually mean when it comes to a real interaction? Let's maybe walk through a common scenario, a sample dialogue that expands a bit on our source material, and we can dissect it line by line to see how these phrases flow naturally in a more complex, kind of real-world situation.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Okay, imagine this. You walk in with a few friends, maybe it's a busy Friday night, and you're hoping to snag a good table. Waiter might say, "Good evening, sir, madam. Welcome to the D.ED Bistro. Table for how many tonight?" You respond, "Good evening. Table for 4, please. Is there possibly..." Wait for a window table.
Okay, stop there for a sec. This opening exchange immediately sets a polite and efficient tone, doesn't it? Even when the customer adds that specific request.
Yeah.
The waiter uses a respectful greeting, a clear, common question. The customer's response is equally clear and courteous, "Table for 4, please." But they also introduce a preference right away, the window table.
Right. Showing confidence.
Exactly. It demonstrates confidence and a clear understanding of what they want, even while being totally polite. The please is, of course, essential, and asking about the window table is a perfectly natural follow-up. It shows they understand common restaurant requests.
Okay, good start. The waiter then checks and maybe leads you to your table or offers options. Waiter, certainly. We can actually get you a window table in about 15 minutes, or I have a lovely table available now in the main dining area. Which would you prefer? Customer, oh, okay. We'll take the table in the main dining area then. Thank you. We're actually quite hungry. Waiter, excellent choice. Right this way, please. Here are your menus. Can I get you started with any drinks while you look them over?
Customer.
Yes, please. That would be great. We'd like 1 lime juice, 2 cold coffees, and could we also get a bottle of sparkling water for the table?
See how the conversation adapts there? The waiter offers options, showing flexibility, and the customer makes a quick, polite decision, even adds a little reason. We're quite hungry.
It keeps it friendly.
It does. And the waiter then proactively offers drinks, understanding that beverages are often the first thing people decide on. And the customer's response is precise and organized, specific quantities, specific item, plus that additional request for water for the table. It's a really efficient and clear way to communicate multiple initial needs.
Right. Getting it all done. Okay, the waiter returns with the drinks, and then it's time to order the food. Waiter, are you ready to order your food now, or would you like a few more minutes? Customer,
Yeah.
I think we're ready, thank you. Actually, before we order, could you tell me a little more about the paneer tikka? I'm curious about the spices.
Waiter.
Certainly. Our paneer tikka is marinated in a blend of yogurt, ginger, garlic, and our special garam masala blend. Then it's grilled in a traditional tandoor oven. It's generally mildly spicy with a lovely smoky flavor. How spicy do you normally prefer your food? Customer, oh, that sounds delicious. Okay, yes. We'd like 1 paneer tikka, then could we get that medium spicy, please? And for the main courses, we'll have 1 vegetable biryani, 2 butter naan, and 1 dal fry. Also, very important, my friend here has a severe nut allergy. Is the dal fry entirely nut-free?
Okay, this part really demonstrates that deeper level of interaction, doesn't it?
Yeah, it gets more complex.
The waiter's initial question about readiness is that invitation, and the customer confidently accepts, but also uses the opportunity to ask for clarification about a dish. That shows active engagement, smart dining.
Right, not just passively ordering.
Exactly. The waiter's detailed explanation helps the customer make an informed choice, and that follow-up question about spice preference, how spicy do you prefer? That's a classic example of tailoring the experience.
Customizing it.
Right. And the customer's order is clear, but crucially, they then proactively communicate that dietary allergy, emphasizing its seriousness. This is where precise language and understanding restaurant protocol for allergies is absolutely critical for safety.
Yeah, you can't mess around with allergies.
No way. It's not just about ordering food at this point. It's about responsible, clear communication.
Okay, good point. The waiter notes the allergy and confirms the order. Waiter, absolutely. I'll make a special note of the nut allergy for the dal fry and ensure the kitchen prepares it completely separately. So, just to confirm, that's 1 medium spicy paneer tikka, 1 vegetable biryani, 2 butter naan, and 1 specially prepared nut-free dal fry. Was there anything else for you tonight, customer? No, that's all for now. Thank you so much. Everything sounds wonderful. We're really looking forward to it. Waiter, excellent. Enjoy your meal. Please just let me know if you need anything at all during your dinner.
That anything else from the waiter is such a great example of a final confirmation check, isn't it?
Yeah, closes the loop.
It provides that opportunity for the customer to add maybe one last thing, ask a final question, or just simply confirm their order is complete. And the customer's response, "That's all for now, thank you," gracefully concludes the ordering process. It maintains politeness while clearly indicating, okay, we're done ordering for the moment. And the waiter's final, "Enjoy your meal," is that warm, standard closing. This entire exchange, from specific seating requests to dietary concerns and polite confirmations, it beautifully demonstrates the efficiency and the courtesy that makes for a really smooth and satisfying dining interaction. Every phrase serves a clear purpose, moving the interaction forward while keeping things polite and addressing potential complexities.
So this is how a real dynamic interaction unfolds. The basic structure is there to guide you, but it's flexible, isn't it?
Totally.
Knowing these key phrases allows you to navigate those moments of clarification, those dietary needs, special requests, without disrupting the overall politeness. Okay, so we've successfully ordered our food, we've addressed a crucial allergy, but the conversation doesn't stop there, does it?
Not at all.
Once the food arrives, the real fun begins.
Yeah.
Describing it. This is where your vocabulary gets to be really expressive, and you can truly share your experience, elevating it beyond just, it was nice. All right, the moment has arrived. Your food is here, steaming, fragrant, looking amazing. Now, how do you actually articulate that incredible taste, that satisfying texture? This is where your vocabulary gets to be really expressive, maybe even a bit poetic and deeply personal.
Yeah, moving beyond good.
Exactly. It's not just about saying it's good. It's about painting a vivid picture with your words, capturing the full sensory experience for your friends, or even just for yourself. Let's start with taste words. We often think of those 5 basic tastes, right? Sweet, sour, salty, bitter, umami.
The big 5.
But English gives us so many nuances to describe these and more.
Yeah.
Take spicy, for instance. This can range hugely from just a gentle warmth to fiery, mouth-numbing heat, depending on the dish, the type of chili used.
Yeah, there's a whole scale there.
Totally. Then, of course, sweet. We think sugary, saccharine, but it could also be delicately sweet, subtly sweet, or maybe even cloyingly sweet, too sweet.
Hey.
Salty describes something briny, savory, or maybe just highly seasoned. Sour indicates the tart or acidic flavor, like a lemon or vinegar, while bitter notes a pungent or sharp taste, often found in things like dark chocolate, strong coffee,
Yeah.
certain leafy greens like arugula.
Yeah, bitter's an interesting one.
It is. And a personal favorite of mine, tangy, which is such a fascinating combination, isn't it? Often a mix of sour and sweet, usually with a kind of zesty kick, like in a good vinaigrette dressing or some fermented foods like kimchi or certain citrus fruits.
Yeah, tangy's a great word. And expanding on that, this precision in describing taste and texture is incredibly valuable. It's not just about conveying information, it's about sharing an experience, right? Eliciting emotions and accurately recommending dishes to others.
Definitely.
Think about the relatively new mainstream appreciation for umami. That savory, meaty 5th taste, often found in things like mushrooms, aged cheeses, miso soup, Parmesan, exactly. Without the language to articulate these nuances, our appreciation can remain kind of superficial. And beyond these basics, we have words like rich, often used for fatty, flavorful foods like a creamy sauce or a marbled steak. Or the opposite, bland, meaning lacking distinct flavor. Maybe gamey, that strong, distinctive flavor you get in wild meat like venison. Or robust, meaning full-bodied, strong, often used for coffee or red wine. These aren't just descriptors, they really invite the listener into your sensory world.
They really do. And it's not just about taste, is it? Texture is equally important. It influences our overall perception of a dish so profoundly.
Massively. Texture's huge.
Think about that satisfying crunchy sound and feel like fresh celery, perfectly fried potato chips, or crisp raw vegetables. Similar but slightly distinct is crispy.
A subtle difference.
Yeah, crispy often refers more to a thin, firm outer layer that breaks really cleanly, like on perfectly fried Indian dosa or a Vietnamese spring roll, or the skin of a beautifully roasted chicken.
Crispy chicken skin.
Right, the best bit.
Then you have juicy, meaning full of liquid, succulent, often used for fruits like peaches or oranges, tender meats, or even well-prepared vegetables that just burst with moisture.
Yeah.
In contrast, chewy describes something that requires a bit of effort to masticate. Could be a tough piece of steak, unfortunately, or a particularly doughy bread, or certain gummy candies.
Like caramel.
Exactly. And finally, creamy, which evokes that smooth, rich, often luxurious feel on the palate, like a creamy tomato soup, a decadent pasta carbonara, or a perfectly blended risotto.
So satisfying.
It is. And we also have words like flaky, for croissants or puff pastry. tender, meaning easy to cut or chew, like a good filet steak, and maybe gritty, having a rough kind of sandy texture, which you hopefully don't encounter too often.
Hopefully not.
But these words, they allow you to paint such a vivid picture, making your food descriptions much richer than just saying, oh, it was good.
You can really elevate it. You could say the curry is wonderfully spicy with this vibrant, tangy kick from the tamarind, or this dessert is exquisitely sweet, but actually not overly saccharine. It's perfectly balanced. You can use phrases like, the dosa is wonderfully crispy and hot with a soft, slightly sour fermented center, or I absolutely adore the creamy pasta. It's just so rich and comforting. Imagine telling a friend about a dish, and instead of just saying, oh, yeah, it was good, you can say something like, oh, the salmon was incredibly juicy, cooked perfectly with this amazing crispy skin, and it was served on a bed of tender asparagus spears with this really bright, tangy lemon butter sauce.
Now that makes me want to try it.
Right. It makes all the difference. It invites your listener to almost taste it themselves.
And using these specific descriptors, it not only enhances your communication, but I think it also encourages a more mindful appreciation of the food itself.
That's interesting. How so?
Well, it forces you to pay closer attention, doesn't it? To articulate the subtle complexities. Different cultures, for instance, really emphasize different tastes or textures in their cuisine. Think about the Japanese concept of mochi mochi for that specific, pleasant, chewy texture.
Ah, right.
Or the distinct emphasis on wok, that smoky char flavor in really good Chinese stir-fries. How might a specific dish combine these things? Say, a crunchy element with a creamy sauce and a tangy flavor.
Okay, like a fresh salad with crisp greens, maybe some crunchy croutons, a creamy avocado dressing, and then a citrusy, tangy vinaigrette.
Perfect example. It's not just eating, it's an intellectual and sensory exploration, really. And it's all made possible and deepened by the language you use. Learning to articulate these sensations in English, I think, can even refine your palate and appreciation in your native language, too.
That's a fascinating thought. Okay, so from the delightful art of describing food, we now need to shift gears a little bit to a different but equally common dining experience in our fast-paced world.
Right. Not always sitting down.
Exactly. Dining out isn't always sitting at a nice table in a beautiful restaurant. Sometimes deliciousness comes right to your front door. But that requires a slightly different set of phrases and maybe a more direct, yet still polite, approach. We're talking, of course, about the ubiquitous rise of food delivery and online ordering. When you're using an app or maybe calling a restaurant directly for delivery, the interaction is often, well, more transactional, isn't it?
Yeah, more functional.
More about getting directly to the point. While politeness is still absolutely crucial, the phrasing can shift slightly to be more concise, more efficient, reflecting that convenience-driven nature of the whole interaction.
Makes sense.
For example, to initiate an order, you might say something simple like, I'd like to place an order for delivery, or maybe, hi, I'm calling to place a pickup order. Clear, concise.
Straightforward.
Yeah. When specifying the item, while I'll have works beautifully in person, in a delivery context, it's also very common and perfectly acceptable to say something more direct like, I want to order 1 veg combo, or I'd like to get 2 pizzas.
Ah, okay. So want to order or like to get is okay here.
Yeah, notice that subtle shift. It's common in this more transactional delivery context because the interaction is less about the leisurely dining experience and much more about the swift logistics of getting the order placed and delivered.
Gotcha. It's quite fascinating, really, how technology has reshaped our interactions with food services. While the core goal is the same, getting food, the medium, whether it's an app or a phone call, dictates a more concise, transactional kind of language.
But politeness remains key.
Absolutely. You're still interacting with the person, even if it's indirectly through an app interface sometimes, or directly over the phone, asking questions like, what is the estimated delivery time? Or how long will the pickup take? That's vital for managing your expectations.
Definitely need to know when the pizza's coming.
Right. And of course, you'll need to clearly provide your address. Please deliver to this address, 123 Main Street, apartment 4B. Apps often have those specific fields for special instructions too, like no onions or extra sauce.
Yeah, a little text box.
Yeah, and that often translates to direct, almost imperative English in writing, like please omit onions or add extra sauce. That's generally fine in that context.
Okay. Payment methods are also key, aren't they?
Right.
Questions like, can I pay online with a credit card? Or is there a delivery fee? Or is it free delivery for orders over $30? Are really common questions to clarify the cost and the convenience factor. Imagine a quick back and forth for a delivery order. Hello, I'd like to place an order for delivery, please. I want to order 1 paneer butter masala and 2 garlic naan. What is the estimated delivery time for that?
Okay.
The person on the other end might say, about 45 minutes. And you'd confirm, okay, great. And just to confirm, there's no delivery charge for my address, correct? Please deliver to 456 Oak Avenue. My name is your name.
See, even in that more direct context, clear communication, confirming details, and those polite phrases like please and thank you are still absolutely essential for a smooth transaction.
Yeah, politeness never hurts.
Never. The shift in tone isn't really an abandonment of politeness. It's more an adaptation to the efficiency demanded by the context. You're not lingering over a meal, you're facilitating a swift transaction.
Right.
Understanding this distinction helps you choose the most appropriate and effective language, making sure your order is processed smoothly and arrives exactly as you expected. And hey, if there's a problem with the order when it arrives,
Oh yeah, what then?
a polite but firm approach is best. Something like, "Excuse me, I seem to be missing a dish for my order," is always, always preferable to starting with an angry or accusatory tone.
Good advice. Okay, now that we've covered all the polite and effective ways to order and describe food and how to adapt your language for delivery, let's talk about some common linguistic traps.
The pitfalls.
Ah, the mistakes section. Exactly. Because even with all this great vocabulary and strategic phrasing, sometimes our brains just, trip us up, leading to common errors. But fear not. Because learning from these mistakes is actually how we truly grow and end up sounding more natural and confident. Okay, so even with all the fantastic vocabulary and all the polite phrases we've just gone through, it's totally natural to make a few linguistic missteps, isn't it? Especially maybe when you're translating directly from your native language in your head.
Oh, absolutely. It happens all the time.
But these aren't failures. They're actually really valuable opportunities for those aha moments. They help you understand why something sounds off, and that helps you sound more natural, more polite, and just more effective in English overall.
Yeah, learning from mistakes is key.
So let's look at some common pitfalls, things that can inadvertently make you sound impolite or maybe just unclear. One classic example that our source material highlights is trying to say something like, I want that food give.
Oof, yeah, that's a bit rough.
It is, isn't it? It's a very direct, literal translation from many languages, but it just sounds quite unnatural, ungrammatical, and honestly, a bit demanding in English.
Definitely demanding.
The correct and polite way to phrase this would be something like, I'd like to order that dish, or maybe, could I have that dish, please?
Big difference.
Huge difference, both grammatically and in terms of politeness. That I'd like to order expresses a desire and a choice in a much softer, more respectful way than a direct command like give.
You've really hit on a core issue there. These common errors often stem from that direct word-for-word translation, or maybe just a lack of exposure to how English is naturally spoken in these situations.
Right.
So correcting them isn't just about fixing grammar, it's about adopting a more native-sounding and respectful communication style. And that's crucial in all social interactions, but especially in service settings like dining out.
Yeah, makes sense.
Another really common mistake is saying something blunt, like, "Bring water fast," or "Give me the menu."
Sounds like an order.
It really does. It comes across as impatient and impolite, almost like you're ordering a subordinate around, not making a request. The correct phrasing, as we've said, "Can we get some water, please?" or "Could I have the menu, please?" uses what we call an indirect request.
Indirect request.
Yeah, and that's inherently more courteous in English. The "can we get" or "could I have" softens the request, makes it less of a demand. And "please" is, as we've stressed probably 50 times now,
Indispensable.
indispensable. It transforms a command into a polite inquiry. Simple as that.
Absolutely. The nuance of politeness is just so critical in English-speaking cultures. Similarly, instead of a blunt, where is Bill, which sounds almost like an accusation.
Yeah, like, where are you hiding it?
Exactly. Or just shouting Bill
Mm,
across the room. You want to use, can I get the bill, please? Or could you bring the check, please?
much better.
Again, it's that indirect phrasing. Can I get or could you bring, along with the ubiquitous please, that transforms a potentially rude inquiry into a perfectly polite standard request. These small changes in phrasing make a profound impact on how you're perceived.
They really do.
Another frequent slip actually is saying, I want a coffee, instead of, I'd like a coffee, please, or could I get a coffee? That seemingly minor switch from want to would like, or using could I get, just softens the request significantly.
It does, and it's worth maybe exploring why these direct translations sound so off,
Yeah, why is that?
English often relies quite heavily on these modal verbs, words like can, could, would, and may, specifically to soften requests and commands. They effectively turn them into polite inquiries rather than just imperatives or orders.
Ah, okay. So could is softer than can. Would is softer than will.
Generally, yes, in requests. When you say, I want that food give, you're using very direct, almost imperative phrasing that simply doesn't fit the social context of a restaurant interaction in English. So learning to consistently use these indirect requests, along with what we keep calling the magic words, truly unlocks a more sophisticated and respectful communication style. Think about other common direct translations that might sound off, like maybe translating, is it possible to open the door? Literally often becomes something like, can open the door in English, which just sounds awkward.
Yeah, a bit clunky.
Right. Instead, could you open the door, please, is natural and polite. It's the same underlying principle, softening a direct action into a polite request using those modal verbs.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
And that leads us perfectly, actually, into what might be the single most important takeaway from this entire deep dive: the profound, almost transformative power of politeness.
Yes.
There's one golden rule, one pair of magic words that smooths almost every single interaction, pretty much anywhere in the world, but especially, it seems, in English-speaking contexts. The tip is simple, almost deceptively simple. Always add please and thank you to sound polite.
Sounds basic, right?
It sounds so basic, almost elementary, something we learn as kids. But the profound impact of these simple words really cannot be overstated. They are like the social lubricant of language.
Social lubricant. I like that.
Yeah. They show respect. They show appreciation, consideration. Think about it. They transform a demand into a request, an expectation into an appreciation, and just a simple transaction into a positive human interaction.
Well said.
And omitting them, even if it's completely unintentional, can make you sound abrupt, maybe demanding, or even ungrateful. It completely changes the perceived tone of your message.
It truly is fascinating how these two tiny words carry such immense social and cultural weight. They really are fundamental building blocks of courteous interaction, and they're often the difference, aren't they, between just a neutral exchange and a truly positive one.
Definitely.
They signal that you acknowledge the server as a professional, someone providing a valuable service, not just, a robot fulfilling a task. Consider the stark contrast. A gruff menu versus a gentle, can I see the menu, please? Or a demanding bill versus a polite, could you bring the bill, please? Thank you. The latter examples instantly create a much more positive atmosphere and, frankly, probably make the server more inclined to assist you warmly and efficiently.
That's absolutely right. The absence of please or thank you can just make you seem less aware of social norms, even if that's not your intention at all. It's not just about grammar. It's about cultural fluency.
Exactly. Cultural fluency.
These words are so deeply ingrained in polite English conversation that using them consistently will immediately elevate your communication in any restaurant setting. It makes you appear confident, considerate, and just generally more globally aware.
And they foster that sense of mutual respect, don't they? It's a two-way street. By using them, you're not just getting what you want more easily, you're actively building a pleasant interaction, which ultimately enhances your entire dining experience for both you and the staff. It's a subtle but really powerful act of recognition and appreciation.
Okay, so now that we've got our phrases polished, our politeness absolutely dialed in, and our understanding of both sides of the conversation crystal clear, let's maybe zoom out a little bit.
Okay. Big picture time.
Yeah, because language is only one piece of the puzzle, right? Dining out is also a social dance. It's a rich cultural experience, and there are all these unwritten rules, cultural cues, and table manners that make the experience enjoyable for everyone around you. And ignoring these can be just as impactful, maybe even more so, than linguistic missteps.
Right. Beyond the spoken words, there's this whole other world of unspoken roles that govern the dining experience. These cultural notes, these table manners, they're just as important as the phrases themselves, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes more so. They ensure a harmonious experience for you, for the staff, and importantly for other diners too. They contribute massively to the overall ambiance and flow of the restaurant.
Let's reiterate the most crucial one again, just because it bears repeating 51 times.
Go for it. Always say please and thank you to servers. It just carries enormous weight and signals that fundamental respect. Okay, done.
Check.
Then a really fundamental sign of respect that applies in many cultures, but is particularly valued in, say, Western dining. Wait until everyone at your table is served before you start eating.
Yes, that's a big one.
It really demonstrates consideration for your dining companions, doesn't it? It allows everyone to begin the meal together, fostering that sense of a shared experience. It's just a small pause, but it speaks volumes about your mindfulness and respect for others.
And this raises an important point. Why do these seemingly minor points of etiquette matter so much?
Yeah, why?
Well, they contribute directly to the overall atmosphere of the restaurant, as you said, and they reflect a deeper understanding of cultural norms that go beyond just the spoken word. They signal that you are a considerate guest, which is universally appreciated anywhere you go.
That makes sense.
Simple things, too, like use your napkin, eat neatly.
Yeah.
This isn't just about basic hygiene. It's about being respectful of the shared space, maintaining a pleasant appearance at the table, and, not creating an unnecessary mess for the staff to clean up or an unpleasant sight for other diners.
Right. Keep your elbows off the table, maybe.
Well, that varies a bit culturally, but generally, yeah, it's good form. And consider how you handle your cutlery as well. Typically in Western dining, you'll use the utensils starting from the outside and working your way in as the courses progress.
Oh, yeah, the fork lineup.
Exactly. And, try not to point with your knife or fork while you're talking.
Good tip. And this next one is so vital for the general ambiance. Don't shout or call loudly for your server.
Oh, please don't do this.
Right. Imagine you're trying to enjoy a quiet, intimate meal with friends, and someone across the room is just yelling, "Waiter! Hey, waiter!" like they're hailing a cab on a busy street.
Cringe-worthy.
Totally. It instantly diminishes the experience for everyone else in the room. This rule ensures respect for other diners' peace and quiet. Instead, a subtle raised hand, maybe a polite nod to catch their eye when they're nearby, followed by quiet, excuse me, when they approach, that's the appropriate and subtle way to get attention.
Mm-hmm.
These nonverbal cues and social graces, they reflect respect for the establishment, the staff, and your fellow diners. They contribute to a pleasant environment for everyone.
Absolutely. And another little nuance, how do you signal you're finished eating? You don't just push your plate away.
No, what do you do?
The generally accepted signal, especially in Western dining, is placing your knife and fork together, parallel to each other, across the plate, usually pointing towards the center or slightly angled, like at the 4 o'clock position if the plate were a clock face.
Ah, okay, like 4 o'clock.
Yeah. That's a universal signal to attentive staff that your plate can be cleared without them having to ask.
Handy.
It is. And the dining experience is communal, right? So these manners ensure that one person's actions don't negatively impact others. They're about being a good citizen of the restaurant, basically.
Good citizen of the restaurant, I like that.
Yeah. And if you accidentally spill something, a quick, quiet apology and a polite request for assistance keeps the disturbance minimal. Oh dear, I'm so sorry. Could I possibly get a napkin, please? Much better than a loud exclamation or frantic waving.
Yeah, it keeps it calm.
Exactly. And when it comes to the bill, splitting it politely is always appreciated. Maybe a clear, could we split this equally between the 4 of us? Or actually, I'll take care of this part and they'll get that part. Always preferable to a loud debate or complex calculations right there at the table.
Good point.
Yeah.
And if you're bringing your own bottle of wine.
BYOB. Remember to ask about a corkage fee beforehand. That's the fee the restaurant charges you to open and serve wine you brought yourself. It's polite to know and expect that.
Okay, good to know. So after a delicious meal, all these etiquette points handled gracefully, how do you leave that lasting, positive impression?
It's often in the little things, right? Those final touches that really show your appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
The source material had a simple but really powerful core concept for this. Always say, "It was delicious," or "thank you" before leaving. It seems like such a small gesture, doesn't it? But it can mean a whole lot to the staff, the servers, the chefs, everyone involved.
It really can. Positive feedback and genuine gratitude are universally appreciated. It's an acknowledgement of their hard work, the chef's skill, the overall quality of the service. It just completes the dining experience on a really positive note, leaving everyone feeling good about the interaction.
Yeah. Even a simple nod and a heartfelt "thank you so much, everything was wonderful,"
Sure.
as you leave your table can go a really long way. It truly is fascinating how these small acts of courtesy, like a sincere thank you or a specific compliment on the food or the service, complete that dining cycle positively. They're about acknowledging the effort and the dedication that went into your meal, which is just a universal sign of respect and appreciation.
Definitely.
Let's look at that slightly expanded narrative from our source, again, that listening story about Arjun and his friends. It perfectly illustrates so many of these polite interactions and positive experiences we've discussed, bringing all these elements, the language, the etiquette, to life in a relatable scenario.
Okay, yeah, let's revisit that. So, setting the scene again. Last Friday evening, Arjun and 3 friends, eager for some authentic Indian food, decided to try a newly opened restaurant. Arjun, good evening. Table for 4, please. Is it very busy tonight? Waiter, good evening. No, we can seat you right away. Right this way, please. Here are your menus. Can I get you started with any drinks while you decide? Arjun, yes, please. That would be great. We'd love 1 fresh lime juice, 2 cold coffees, and 1 mango lassi, please. Waiter, excellent. Coming right up. Are you ready to order your food now, or would you like a few more minutes? Arjun, I think we're ready. We'll have 1 paneer tikka to start. Can we have that medium spicy? For the mains, we'll have 1 vegetable biryani and 2 butter naan, and also 1 dal fry. Oh, and just to let you know, my friend here is vegetarian, so please ensure everything is completely meat-free. Waiter, understood perfectly. 1 medium paneer tikka, 1 veg biryani, 2 butter naan, and 1 vegetarian dal fry. Excellent choices. Your food will be out shortly. Please enjoy your meal.
Okay, pause there. You can hear all those key phrases we talked about already in play, right?
Absolutely.
The polite request for a table, the clear drink order using quantities and please, the use of "we'll have" for the food order, and that crucial clear communication of the dietary need vegetarian.
Right.
And the waiter confirms the order clearly and offers that warm send-off, enjoy your meal. The conversation just flowed effortlessly, didn't it? Setting the stage for a great meal.
Yeah, smooth sailing. Okay, and then as the meal progressed, Arjun, after trying the paneer tikka. Wow. This paneer tikka is incredibly juicy and flavorful. The spice level is just perfect. Medium was a great choice. Friend. Yes, and the naan is so soft and wonderfully chewy, perfect for dipping in the dal fry. This dal is really quite rich and creamy, isn't it? Waiter, approaching the table discreetly after the main course. How was everything for you folks tonight? Was everything to your liking? Is there anything else I can perhaps get for you? Dessert? Coffee?
Arjun.
Oh, everything was absolutely delicious, thank you. We're actually quite full now. Could we possibly get the bill when you have a moment, please? Waiter. Certainly, sir. I'll bring that right over for you.
See, this simple narrative, while brief, it really encapsulates so many of the lessons we've explored. Arjun and his friends clearly articulated their order initially. Then they shared positive observations about the taste, juicy, flavorful, and texture, soft, chewy, rich, creamy of the food with each other. They received prompt and polite service. The waiter checked back appropriately. How is everything? And when it came time to pay, the request for the bill was courteous and clear. Could we get the bill, please? It just demonstrates how a confident understanding of restaurant English and those cultural cues leads to a seamless and genuinely enjoyable dining experience. They used the vocabulary, the polite phrasing, handled the bill smoothly, and showed appreciation throughout.
Yeah, it all came together nicely.
Yeah.
Okay, finally, as they prepared to leave, waiter, here's your bill. Thank you very much for dining with us tonight. We hope to see you again soon. Arjun hands over payment or card.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. The service was really excellent, and the food was truly delicious. We'll definitely be back later.
Yeah.
It was our pleasure entirely. Have a wonderful night.
It's just a perfect little real-world application of pretty much everything we've talked about today, isn't it?
It really is. It highlights how all these little pieces, the language, the politeness, the etiquette, they all fit together to create a smooth, pleasant, and memorable interaction for absolutely everyone involved. So, okay, what does this all really mean for you, the listener? We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into restaurant English, haven't we?
We certainly have.
Hopefully, we've equipped you with the confidence to navigate almost any dining situation. From the moment you walk in the door and maybe even decode the menu's psychology, to confidently placing your order even with tricky dietary restrictions, appreciating and describing all those wonderful flavors and textures, and finally leaving with grace and a positive impression.
And you know, the ability to communicate effectively in a restaurant setting, it really goes far beyond just ordering food, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels bigger than that.
It is. It's about participating fully in a cultural experience. It's about connecting with people, whether it's the staff or your dining companions. And it's about feeling completely confident and at ease in diverse social environments. We've explored the essential restaurant vocabulary, we've unpacked various food ordering dialogues, we've provided a whole rich palette of taste and texture words, analyzed interactions through that expanded role-play scenario, And perhaps most importantly, we've re-emphasized the critical role of polite customer English and those subtle but vital cultural cues.
Yeah.
This knowledge isn't just about dining out, it's really about navigating the world with greater ease and enjoyment, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. This knowledge isn't just about getting a meal. It's about enhancing your travel experiences, maybe making your business interactions smoother when you're dining with clients, and even just enriching your ability to share your culinary adventures with friends and family back home.
Right.
It builds your overall confidence, not just for dining out, but for speaking out in English in a whole myriad of social settings. It really empowers you to truly engage with the world around you in a more profound and ultimately more satisfying way. Okay, before we wrap up this deep dive, here's something to maybe mull over, a little food for thought, if you will.
Ooh, I like it.
We've talked extensively about the words, the etiquette, the psychology of menus, the nuances of politeness. But how might the actual experience of deliberately describing food in English, how might that change how you perceive and enjoy your meals, even when you're eating food from your own culture, speaking your native language? Does the act of consciously putting words to sensations like crunchy or tangy, umami or creamy, does that deepen your appreciation of the flavors and textures themselves? Does it make you a more mindful, maybe more discerning eater in every context?
That's a truly thought-provoking question. Could the deliberate act of articulating your culinary experience in a new language, like English in this case, actually encourage a more mindful, more sensory engagement with your food?
Maybe.
Could it allow you to discover nuances and subtleties in taste, in texture, and aroma that you might have otherwise overlooked if you weren't actively searching for the words to describe them?
Yeah, like you're forced to pay closer attention.
Exactly. Consider how learning to describe the juicy quality of a perfectly ripe peach or the creamy richness of a sauce, how that impacts your ability to truly taste and appreciate those specific sensations. By expanding your descriptive linguistic toolkit, you're not just learning new words, you're potentially unlocking new dimensions of sensory perception. It could make dining an even richer, more profound experience that actually transcends language itself. Something to think about next time you eat.
Definitely something to chew on.
Mm.
Okay, that's it for our deep dive into the delicious and nuanced world of restaurant English. We really hope you've extracted some truly useful nuggets of knowledge today that will make your next dining experience, wherever it may be, even more enjoyable and confidently navigated.
Thank you so much for joining us on this exploration. Remember, knowledge is always most valuable when it's understood and then actually applied. So keep practicing, keep exploring those menus and flavors, and most importantly, enjoy your meals.